Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome to our coffee times. Today I am here to talk to you about a new show that just came out on Netflix, and that is Ratched.
It's coffee time.
So since the very first time that I saw the first season of American Horror Story, I fell in love with the way that they created those characters and that world, and I've been trying to watch everything that Ryan Murphy puts out there. So when they announced Ratched and I also saw what the story was going to be about, plus Sarah Paulson is going to take the main role, I was like, sold, give it to me. So when they released it, I binged it and I just wanted to give you guys my impressions so that you know what I thought about the show in case that you are considering checking it out. So let's talk about it. But before we go to this spoiler-free review, if you love horror and movies and collectibles, please consider subscribing to the channel and also click on the notification bell so that you don't miss any more coffee times. Ratched, it's an American psychological thriller drama web television series about the character of the same name from Ken Kesey's 1962 novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The series stars Sarah Paulson in the title role and serves as a prequel to the novel. This is a TV show based in the 40s, and we follow nurse Ratched as she goes to this psychiatric clinic looking for a job. She looks like this perfect, put together woman, strong, knows what she wants, it's there for a job, and she ends up obviously getting a job there as a nurse. And then we start to discover more and more all the dark secrets from her past and what is her secret agenda. So this has been pitched as monsters are made, not born, which is again something that I love to explore when it comes to true crime stories. Now this one does have to do with crime as well, and I have to say I enjoyed the show, but I was kind of expecting a little bit more. So now let's go a little bit more into detail. Now when it comes to the cast, I think that as always Ryan Murphy knows who he needs for each role, and he likes to work kind of with the same actors a lot of the time. And you know, putting Sarah Paulson in this character was so smart. She is such a good actress. Since the very first time I saw her in American Horror Story, I fell in love with her, and everything I've seen by her, I've never been really disappointed when it comes to the acting part. She embraced this character and she's basically carrying the TV show on her shoulders, and her performance is really strong, but so are also other of the cast members. I think everybody did such a wonderful job. And also with, you know, with Ryan Murphy's creations, I always have this thing that he has such a vision of what he wants, that he is able to create these micro worlds that pull you in the moment you turn on that first episode. Like the way he creates, you know, the sets, the way everything looks, the attention to detail, it just really makes you believe that you're there with the characters. It's so immersive, the worlds that he creates. I think that is one of the things that I really like of his shows, and why I love to watch any of his shows that are being released. So far for me, my favorites have been American Horror Story Asylum and American Crime Story Versace. That was so good. Finn Wittrock also did an amazing job in Ratched. His character reminded me at times of Hannibal Lecter, and it was so wonderful to see him with this character because there's different things that he can do with it, since his character is one of the patients of this asylum, kind of like psychiatric clinic, and he's just wonderful. I love to see him act. So apart from a great acting that I was already expecting, the color palette, the attention to detail, the visuals, it is just so pleasant. it's just so pleasant to watch, to see, and the score was also fantastic. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like I said, Ryan Murphy pays so much attention to detail in his creations. Of course, as always, this show is violent, is disturbing, is you're gonna see blood. So it's also not for the faint of heart at times, let me tell you that. But if you've seen other things by him, you know kind of what to expect. And personally, and even though, like I said, I adore Sarah Paulson, I think for me in this show, my favorite character has been Judy Davis' character, Nurse Bucket. And I just love her character so much. I did. I kind of wish I would have even seen more about her. So let's go back to the plot. So when Ratched gets to this asylum, to this psychiatric facility, and she gets a job, from the very moment that she steps in, you already know there's something weird going on there. You kind of have the feeling that something's off, something's not kosher there, and you kind of have the feeling, you know, each new character that is being introduced, you have this feeling that everybody has this secret agenda, everybody has their dark secrets. And you cannot wait to discover all of these things. In this clinic also we get to see the first attempts to change behavior in human beings that have kind of mental illnesses or disorders that back then were considered mental illnesses, like homosexuality. And you get to see the first attempts to a lobotomy. So that gets a little bit intense, and also kind of other techniques, and it was so interesting. I kind of wish we would have focused a little bit more on those kind of interventions, on those experiments. I know it's really messed up, but I always have been really intrigued about these kind of you know, practices, and I kind of wish we would have seen a little bit more about that. It's kind of exploring in that sense, you know, are these practices curing people, or is it just pure torture, you know? Which it is a very fair question. This series also explores the questions, are we playing God? Can we fix the human mind at all? Can we, you know, save people from themselves, from those kind of instincts or those reactions that they have that they cannot control? And it kind of also makes you think about the consequences of trying to repress somebody's instincts and kind of trying to force them to be who they are not, and how that can drive some people to insanity at points. Like, all of these medical reflections were for me the most interesting part about the show. And like I said, I felt like I needed more of that. It would have made the show so much powerful and dark and twisted for me, even though it was, I mean, it was disturbing and messed up and all of that. If you like American Horror Story, I think you're gonna enjoy this show. I just felt like it was kind of like a missed opportunity at times in certain scenes, certain moments. I felt like they were missing an opportunity there to bring the show kind of like to the next level. The show was provocative at times due to the, you know, topics that we were touching, and I kind of wish that they would have polished a little bit more kind of the tone they were looking for with the series, because most of the time this is a serious show, and everything is very serious, but then there are times where it gets a little bit campy, like a little bit fun in a way that you're like losing this feeling of tension and creepiness of it, because it just turns into something more campy, I don't know, like freak show kind of thing. And I kind of wish they would have stuck to the serious tone of the series and make it like more like that. I feel like it would have been stronger. There is a character played by Sharon Stone that whenever she comes, I felt like we were in the comic relief part of the show, if that makes sense. Maybe if you watch the show, you know what I mean. And because in the show you are exploring different characters' backgrounds, there are some times where there were scenes that I was not so interested about because they were not from the characters that I was really interested to see more of. And when you only have 8 episodes, it's a bit risky if you are trying to show so much of every character. I did really enjoy the show. I think it was entertaining, but I just felt like it was not as good as I imagined. But like I said, the acting is great, the score is great, the lighting was fantastic. There were moments where they were playing with colors and lights, and it made the show really like unique and atmospheric. But it did get a little bit repetitive in the middle for me, and I was not 100% satisfied with the ending. Also, I don't know if we're gonna get a second season. This has not been yet confirmed by Netflix. I don't know if they're waiting to see what people's reaction to the show is. I do know that I'm not the only one that had kind of higher expectations from the show, and I think it could have been made better, but it is still really well done and enjoyable. So now for my rating, I ended up giving this a 3 out of 5. It's kind of standard. It's something that was good, that was okay, but I kind of wanted more from this show, and probably it's because I had hyped it up a lot as well. But for some of the reasons that I have mentioned, I have to be fair and give it a 3, but I would still recommend you guys to give it a chance. So the show has only 8 episodes of like around 1 hour each. So I would say if you get to the 3rd episode and you have had enough, then you can turn it off. Because from there I felt like most of the things were a little bit more repetitive and it dragged a little bit more. So yeah, but like I said, I do think that if you're interested at all in the story of Nurse Ratched, or Ryan Murphy's other work, you should give it a try, because I think you would still find it entertaining like I did. Let me know down below if you've watched the show. Do you want to? Are you unsure? Let's discuss it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support if you made it to the end of this review. And if you want to follow me in other social media, as always, the links are down below. And I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!